Good morning, everybody. My name is Jody. My husband David John and I have a small farm in the panhandle of North Idaho. These are our stories and adventures. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and on with today's adventure. So we have gotten the two windows put in. I'm going to show you that. I've painted the tip out a light tan, and I've got the outdoor living room done, so I'm going to show you that, and then we're going to go up and work on cleaning up the tomato plants. So there's the old window in its new spot, the tan color, the lime, and the new window with Kiesel's doggy door. And the funniest part about the new window is, it's not funny, but the amount of light that it lets in. The first night that it was in, we'd gone to bed, and I looked at David John and I said, "You forgot to turn the lights off." But no, it was just letting in that much more natural light. So it really will help this lemon. So let's go out and look at the outdoor living room. So we did go through and repaint the deck. It is now green. Got our rug, and all the house plants have been brought out. So I've got my palm corner, and these cactuses that I rescued last year, I just put them on an aspen log, and because I underwater, or I bottom water them, and they're just in this tray with some other plants. The aspen log, in the fact of decomposition, is now very coolly covered with all different types of fungus. The angel wing begonia, and then all my palms up there. The main reason you want to prune up your tomatoes is because you want to remove, and we'll go down and look at a plant here in a minute, is you want to remove the sucker growth and the lower leaves, because of splash up on the leaves can spread disease. And plus, if you're like I have here, I've underplanted with the green beans and the marigolds. Everything's just not all growing together. And I found the first couple years when we were doing this, I didn't prune any of my tomatoes. It was just this gangly mess, and couldn't really get anything to really bear fruit and ripen. And since I've started pruning up my tomatoes, they just get loaded with so much more fruit, and I can get big tomatoes to grow and develop all the way, so that way I've got tomatoes for canning. So let's get down here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. As you see on this beautiful looking tomato, I've got here in the joint, in this leaf joint, I've got this guy coming up. That's what's called a sucker, and you can clip these off and stick them in water and they will root for another clone plant of this. You can either just nip them off with your fingernail, just like I did there, or on bigger limbs, I like to use these floral shears, and you want to make sure that they're clean. So let's go through and get this guy cleaned up. So there's that one all cleaned up. doesn't need any really tying up as of yet. But gonna go through and work on getting all of them cleaned up and tied up. Well, now that we've got these 2 rows cleaned up, we're going to go back through and tie these guys up because, like I've said before, tomatoes are not natural climbers. You do have to assist when you're getting them to climb. But my garden lender monster, it's got fruit on it already. So I've got these clips here, which can just wrap around a string, or I do 2 on the cattle panel, 1 here, and then I will take a second one and just link it through and clip it on the tomato. Go through and get some of these tightened up and some more tied up. Oh, and another thing, when you're going through, especially when you get to the top of your tomato when you're pruning, you want to make sure that you don't cut the main leader out of it, because indeterminate tomatoes, you can let a sucker take over to be the new top, but a determinate tomato, it could really just, you could lose your whole crop if you did that on accident, which I have done in the past. And another clip I'm going to be using is this guy right here. I actually found these at the dollar store the other day, so I thought I'd give them a shot. They seem to work pretty good. So they're just like a clip thing. If I can get this guy where I can clip him to something. Maybe not on this. There we go. And these ones I'll just have to watch as the tomato gets bigger. They may have to be removed and just moved up further up the tomato plant. Well, now that we've got all the tomatoes cleaned up and tied up and a bucket full of tomato leaves, and remember, tomatoes are a member of the nightshade family, so you do not want to put these somewhere where your birds can get to and eat it, because it will poison them, and they're just thinking it's green and they're going to eat it. So obviously I can't put it on my compost piles since the birds have access to all of them. So I have been putting like the rhubarb leaves and stuff that I don't want the birds eating, had been throwing them on the far side of the hoop house. So I'm gonna go do that and then meet you guys in the greenhouse because got a project to do in there. Two things in here. One is, unfortunately, even though the peas are just now starting to take off, I am gonna rip them out because I haven't seen the pea weevil, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera or not, but I can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but there's eggs all over all the pea pods. So it'll be a treat for the birds. So gonna get the peas eradicated. And another project I'm gonna do is right at this level of the clear plastic, I am going to cut it and roll it back and open the awning windows on the front here, to help ventilate it a little better, because we haven't got the shade cloth on, but we're debating whether we're going to put the shade cloth on the greenhouse or actually put it on the hoop house and take the landscape fabric down. Trying to decide which way we want to go. So we're going to try ventilating it, see if that helps cool it down in here a little bit more. So first things first, we're going to eradicate these peas, or no, actually, let's get some more ventilation because it's like 88 in here right now and it's just going to get warmer. So the first step is taking our safety knife. We're going to go and trim the plastic itself. I'll have to go grab a pair of needle nose pliers to pull the staples out. We'll roll it up and then we'll open up the windows so we can start getting these tomatoes tied up. And just lifting that little flap, I can already feel cool air coming in. So I'm going to go grab a pair of needle nose pliers and get these staples removed. Okay, so on a little closer inspection, it's actually going to be easier just to take the whole plastic piece off because it was barely stapled at the top and just roll it down to that end, since that end is secured with a piece of lathing and screws. And this end has just got a couple staples, so that's what I'm going to do. So that got the plastic in the corner nice and neat, got the hole cut in, and next fall what will happen when we go to put it back in is we'll get a roll of the tape that is specifically designed for using in greenhouses to mend holes or to make seams. It's designed to stick to the poly plastic. So that's how we'll repair it for next fall, winter, and spring until we have to open it up again for the summer. So we're going to go outside to the GoPro and get the bracing put up and get these windows opened. This is the outside of the greenhouse. Going to be using, I've got these boards, they're about 2 feet long. I've got a screw in the one end that will get screwed into the side of the greenhouse, and then the window will just rest on the other piece as kind of a brace. There, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And normally, yes, I would have waited till David John's home to do this, but he's not, and I need to get in there and work. Oh, my t-shirt. There, we've got the one brace on, got 3 more to do. There, that one's open. So I know this one's open a little further than the other one, and that's fine, but kind of gives you an idea of the size this flower bed's going to be. It's basically where the shade is, and when it comes time to get in there and get that dug out, I can easily just close half the window, get it cleaned out, and then open the window back up. So let's go back into the greenhouse and get rid of those peas. Okay, now that that's all opened up, let's go through and unfortunately get rid of all the peas and make some birds happy and get the tomatoes tied up in here. Plus you can kind of see, especially in the blue pots, the peas were starting to struggle because of the heat in here. And I believe the soil should be fine for planting like the peppers and everything in, since they're not affected by the pea weevil beetle. And since the eggs won't be in here to hatch and drop and overwinter in the soil, shouldn't be spreading more pea weevils in the soil that's in these pots. And I am leaving the pea roots in the pots because they have little globules on their roots that are a nitrogen fix, so they're really good for helping add some nitrogen to the soil, so the peppers will appreciate that. So instead of using my twine for trellising up the tomatoes, I've got another thing of this green fencing that I'm going to tie up because I've got strings up there all along, so I'm just going to zip tie the netting to that, and then we can use the little white clips to clip the tomatoes to the green netting. And the goof troop, aka the geese, just realized Mom put something green out. TikToker leading the charge. And it's hard to believe how fast those babies, they just went from being little things to almost full size now. So hopefully you can see it. Got the netting put up. The hardest part about this stuff is finding the end and thinking you have the end, and then you don't, you have the side. So I had to cut it down and restored it after I got 5 foot done. But I have a bunch left over for something else if I need it. So I'm gonna go through, get these tomatoes cleaned up and tied up, and I'll be back with you guys in a minute. Well, I got everything all pruned up, tied up, in the process of pushing the pots back into place. Must have been a yellow jacket or something there, and he stung me twice. So this is where I'm going to end today's video and go down to the house where it's a little cooler and put some ice on that bee sting, because it really hurts. Don't forget to drink lots of water, stay hydrated when it's uber hot like this. Be on the lookout for yellow jackets, and have a good day and a good week, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.